Hey everybody, welcome back. This is episode number 33 of the Future Solutions Fence and Outdoor Clip of the Day podcast. My name's Dave Gatto and I'm your host. I have a really good episode in store for you. This one can save you a lot of time and a lot of money and make you much more efficient in your operations, especially if you're in the service industry where you're sending service trucks out, you're sending installation crews out, whatever the case might be. This one is a huge time saver and money saver. So, how many times has this happened to us? I know it's happened to me a ton of times, and every single time it happened, I got madder and madder about this until I finally came up with a solution, right? Let's just say we have a job. It's a wooden fence we're going to go install. It's an hour and a half away. So, we send a truck out there, the materials are out there, we got a crew ready to rock and roll. You know, they're staging a job, they're setting up, they're getting their radios plugged in, they're getting their battery chargers plugged in, they're getting their cords ran, they're getting their hoses ran, they're getting their guns out, getting them oiled up, ready to start framing and popping pickets in. Then there's no compressor. How many times does that happen? Somebody left a compressor an hour and a half away at the shop. We got two options at this point, right? And we know that we're going to hear it when we get back to the shop, right? One option is to go back to the shop, get the compressor, and just hope that the rest of the team can do something to keep themselves busy, right? That's one option. The second option is to stop at a Lowe's, Home Depot, Harbor Freight, Ace Hardware, whatever might be closest, and say, hey, I'm going to bite the bullet and I'm just going to buy another compressor because it's much closer to the shop and it's going to be much more efficient to get it. And let me tell you guys, I ended up with like 10 pancake compressors. I mean, just countless amounts of tools from inefficiencies. So one day I said, how do I stop this? Simple solution, guys. We came up with a checklist, right? And it was a checklist that we just stored on a PDF file so we could print out as many as we wanted to, right? It had little check boxes on it and little spots for initials. And we assigned somebody this job for that particular truck. And it rotated, right? So the same person didn't have to do it all the time. If they wanted to pass it off after a while, they could pass it off to somebody else. But it was a checkbox specifically related. We do aluminum fences, chain link fences, wood fences, vinyl fences, all right? So we made 4 separate checklists. And what a checklist might look like is it just, let's just say it's a checklist for a wood fence, right? So there might be, so it takes, listen, this takes 10 minutes to happen, 10 minutes to go down for somebody to take the time to do this, right? It might say things like, you know, framing gun, framing nails, coil nailer, coil nails, 100-foot extension cord, 100-foot air hose, pancake compressor, square, cordless battery operated saw, sawzall, hammer, tape measure, string line, things that are necessities that would stop your job if they're not there, right? And coupled with an organized and labeled truck, it even goes faster. So if you could organize and label all the different toolboxes in your truck, cords are in here, hoses are in here, compressors are in here. That'll make it much more efficient. And then whoever was doing this checklist, guys, would have to check the box and sign it. And this would have to be dated and turned in. And it would have to be turned in at the end of the day. So this way, if they went out there, right, and they're missing the compressor, we know who is not doing their job. And we can bring that person in the office and have a talk with them, you know, give them a verbal warning and then a write-up. And then, you know, after the write-up, whatever you got to do after that. Right? Maybe it's going to have to be firing somebody if they can't remember to put the compressor or to check for the compressor 4 times in a row. Maybe they're not a good fit for your company. But this, guys, when we developed this checklist, it really streamlined things for our service trucks out there. Right? And we started thinking about, hey, what can we make more checklists for? Let's make a checklist for the truck where it's taking a trailer to make sure that an incident that we can stop an incident from happening before they're on the highway an hour away with a trailer attached. Now we're waiting for roadside assistance for 4 hours and a whopping bill, whatever that might be. So we made a checklist for the driver. right? Make sure the machinery strapped down. Make sure the trailer is properly hitched on the right size ball hitched. Make sure the trailer cord's plugged in, that the blinkers are working. Do a visual inspection of the tires. Make sure there's no nails in the tires, no visible wear where you know something's wrong with a bearing. There's no check engine lights on. You got proper fuel in the truck. Stuff like that. We made a checklist for them. And we got them GPS tracked, of course, which makes things even more efficient. So we made a checklist for that, right? Then we started even expanding on this stuff a little bit further. I know this sounds like a lot of checklists, and I'm telling you right now, they're easy to make, and you might modify them once or twice. But these things are crucial. So we started doing a checklist for the end of the day on a job or the completion of a job, right? Let's say our guys went out there and completed a fence. There's a whole checklist that they have to go through, right? Let's just say it's a vinyl fence. The checklist would look something like this. Make sure the fence is wiped down, front and back. Make sure there's screws in every single top rail. Make sure all the caps are glued down. Make sure all the U-channels screwed into the fence or riveted into the fence. Make sure the gates are working properly and are self-closing. Do a visual walk around for any damage. Look on both sides in your yard and neighbor's yard and make sure that we didn't leave any tools behind or there's no piles of dirt or holes anywhere. Go over, contact the customer, and give them a walk around and have them sign a completion form that they've been walked around, they've done a visual inspection of the fence, they were shown how their gates are going to work, everything looks the way that they wanted to, and let them sign off on it. Right? So now we had a visual, a list at the end of the job. So if something happened, if a customer calls us up and say, hey, somebody left a drill or a nail gun over here, we know somebody's not doing their job. If a customer calls up and says, hey, you know, there's a big pile of dirt behind my fence or the back of my fence looks like a mud wash on the back of it, we know, hey, somebody's not doing their job. And in specific, this person who initialed this and signed it, right, and turned it in. So we know who to confront, so we know where there's problems, right? And just think about how efficient that is to have a completion form. So then a customer can't call up and say, hey, you know, my gate was broken and I didn't catch it and it blew off the post and now it's damaged, you guys got to come out and fix it. No, you signed off on it, the gate was good. You were shown. What really happened is you didn't latch your gate and it was blown open and blew apart. You know, so it creates a lot of accountability. And I'm just going to tell you guys, with the checklists, we got checklists for our delivery drivers, right? We got a checklist to make sure that the order was double checked, it was counted, that it's properly strapped down, that the inspections of their truck are completed, that their trailers are hooked up correctly, that there's fuel in the vehicle, that they contacted the customer and gave them an ETA, asked them if there was any special delivery instructions. They got checklists to follow to make sure if the customer isn't there, that they offload it, take pictures, and send a delivery confirmation picture to the office and the customer. Right? Stuff like that allows our business to run like a well-oiled machine. We got checklists too at the end of the day of the tasks that need to be completed in the warehouse. The floor swept, the machines wiped down, the CNC machines properly shut down. The parking lot, visual inspection for different things laying around that shouldn't be laying around, like garbage or material that was never put away. Has the parking lot has a nail sweep been done for the parking lot with the magnet? Are the keys to all the trucks hanging up? Are the lights off? Are the doors locked? Are the alarms set? Stuff like that, guys, that is really, really helped us out a lot. So think of things that you can make checklists for, and then get a checklist for a checklist for a checklist. I know it sounds like a lot of checklists, but you'll be thanking yourself every single time that you do not see a crew coming back to the warehouse to get a missing tool, or having a customer call up and say that there's something, their caps aren't glued down, or their gate's not working properly. Things like that, you will be happy that you made this checklist. So that's all I got, guys, for episode 33. I hope you got something out of that. If you do, please like it, share it, subscribe to it. Guys, and if you got any questions or you want to see any content, please put it in the comment box. Till then, guys, have a great day.